In this video, I want to give you an update of all things VFE, but first we have to go back in time to about 6 years ago when my second son Nate was born. At that time, my wife took time away from her teaching profession that she loves because he was born with a cleft lip and palate and had special needs. He's now going into kindergarten, and the exciting news is my wife is going to be able to go back into teaching. We now have 3 kids. And so it's an exciting time for us. What this does mean is that we don't need VFE anymore. We've been using funds from VFE to help supplement, and especially during those seasons where there's extra expenses or whatever, VFE has been a big help to us. We're not going to need that anymore, and I'll have less time just by its nature, both of us working. However, my classes need VFE, and there's 3 reasons why. Number 1, I like to do real-world projects, and those are just more expensive. Number 2 is that the school is limited to USA-only purchases, and a lot of the electronics manufacturing, like infrastructure, is not in the USA, so sometimes you can't find the thing you need, and often when you can, it is many multiples more expensive to purchase it from a USA distributor, especially like custom circuitry work that I'm teaching my students how to do. So that's a big limitation, but those are just money limitations. If I had all the money in the world, there's actually a third one, and that is the complexity of the purchase orders that I'd have to submit. We're talking about multiple different vendors, so separate forms for every one. Ones where I can't just give them a link and say buy this many. I have to give them a link and then tell them how to engage with the thing. Click this option and this option and this option. And doing that for everything, one, would take a ton of time, and there'd be a ton of mistakes. I've only had one time where I gave them an order where they had to click a second thing, and that was for some pots that needed a B, I believe it was a B100K value, and they bought a B10K value. And that would be rampant. And so for those 3 reasons, man, is it just so much simpler and so much more powerful for my students if I just use the funds from VFE to contribute and share and use parts from there and support buying the custom circuit boards. That's what I've been doing for years now. Plus, I just enjoy it. So we don't have the need for it, but my classes are much better because of it, and I enjoy it. So my time's going to be much more limited though. So I've been working on designs that take less time to build, or ones where I can hire someone for a short season to put together some things, and I'll do the final soldering or testing or whatever to make sure that's up to the quality that I want, but it takes less of my time to physically produce that. And so the pedals on Reverb, my Reverb store right now, are examples of this. I have way more inventory on Reverb right now than I have had in many years because I worked with a design to surface mount some parts, some of the resistors, diodes, some of the parts where it's either 1-to-1 equivalent, it's the same part through hole as surface mount, or the surface mount part's better. And then had that done there, and so there were fewer parts for me too, and I'm still working on even more ways to accelerate that process. But what that really means is that the way to do that best is to have fewer, bigger projects. So instead of trying to manage, I have 30 something different pedal designs. So instead of doing a custom shop that I've done in the past to help raise funds for my classes, I'm going to be doing only a project 2, maybe 3 across the whole year, so that I can greatly simplify my workflow, and so they'll be larger in scale. Instead of here, let me make this 1 or 2 pedals for people, it'll be larger in scale. And for this school year, well, that's gonna be the Klein bottle. I've designed a stereo Klein bottle, and we're raising funds on Indiegogo right now for that Klein bottle. And as of right now, I think we're over halfway there. The goal is $50,000 because that's how much it'll take just to buy the custom components needed to build the thing, and there's actually a bunch of other expenses, but that's just the floor to just be able to build it at all. And so that's my big one, and I'm very hopeful, and we're right on track for meeting that $50,000 goal. And so that'll be my like one and only pedal thing that I do for the 2024-25 school year. I have potential other ideas for future years, big project ideas. Some of them are just like, hey, let's take a design that I already have and let's figure out how to manufacture it at a larger scale that takes less of my time to do, which would actually lower the cost without changing the quality in any way. Or just like other ideas in the scale of the Klein bottle, like a epic modulator that can do tremolo, phaser, chorus, flanger, like all the different sort of modulations under one roof. Or a channel strip that uses effects loops similar to the Klein bottle, or a modular effects board where you can swap in and out different effects, but aimed towards the DIY community because they're the ones who can like roll with it. I'm not going to be able to produce that much, so like could I produce like some sort of form factor that could be used by DIY builders, and who knows where they take it. I could even do some Eurorack designs, and there's all sorts of other things. I've experimented with some lighting and stuff, but that's probably not my target market. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's where I'm going. And this is an exciting new chapter, but VFE has for 8 years supported my classes at Idea High School, particularly my circuitry classes, and they'll continue to do so moving forward. This year I'm teaching audio circuitry. So much of what VFE has, like parts wise, is being offered to the students there. And in January, my plan is to do a audio effect design course where they learn how to like design simple circuits, like as beginners, as those new to circuitry, design circuits to change different aspects of the the audio. So things as simple as like obviously volume and EQ, but compression, reverb, echo, all the things on the pedal list, but probably stay away from the most complex ones. But all your core things, I'm going to teach them how to design it from scratch, design the circuit board, figure out how the enclosure goes, paint it, all this sort of stuff. And so yeah, so I'm super excited for this year. And I just want to thank you all for all the support you've given us over the years to make this all possible. Without you, what I do just doesn't happen. It's much simpler. It's much lower scale. So thank you.